The Book of Judith was left out of the Hebrew Bible and considered deuterocanonical second canon by many Christian traditions, particularly Protestant ones, due to a combination of historical, theological, and canonical factors. Why it was left out? Not in the Hebrew Bible. The Jewish canon Tanakh was solidified by the end of the 1st century CE. Judith was not included, likely because it was originally written in Greek, not Hebrew, and its historical accuracy was questioned even by early Jewish scholars. Historical inaccuracies. The narrative contains anachronisms and historical inconsistencies. For example, Nebuchadnezzar is called king of Assyria, when he was actually king of Babylon, making it seem more like theological fiction or allegory than literal history. Reformation exclusion. During the Protestant Reformation, leaders like Martin Luther excluded Judith from the Old Testament because it was not part of the Hebrew canon. It remains in Catholic and Eastern Orthodox Bibles, but is labeled apocrypha in most Protestant traditions. Judith's message to the world. The story tells of a courageous Jewish widow, Judith, who saves her people by using intelligence, beauty, and faith. She beheads the Assyrian general Holofernes, leading to Israel's victory. Her message includes faith in God. Judith prays deeply and acts with complete trust in divine deliverance. Empowerment and courage. A woman defies fear, leadership norms, and gender expectations to save her nation. Justice through action. Sometimes, divine justice requires bold and decisive human action. Spiritual significance. Spiritually, the Book of Judith aligns with several core themes found across Scripture. Divine providence. God works through unlikely people, especially those overlooked by society like widows. Victory of the righteous. Those who trust in God will ultimately prevail, even against overwhelming odds. Inner strength and wisdom. True power isn't brute force, but discernment, patience, and faith. It resonates deeply with mystical and archetypal themes, the divine feminine, the power of truth over illusion, and the warrior of light overcoming darkness. Let's explore both spiritual and mystical interpretations of Judith and her story, so you can see how her message reaches beyond the literal and into deeper soul symbolism. Spiritual interpretation of Judith's actions. Faith as the ultimate weapon. Judith doesn't rely on armies or might. She prepares herself with fasting, prayer, and purity. Spiritually, this shows that inner alignment with God's will is more powerful than external strength. A divine warrior in feminine form. She represents the divine feminine acting with wisdom and courage. In a world dominated by male warriors and leaders, Judith shows that spiritual power transcends gender and status. Righteous deception. Her use of cunning and beauty to defeat Holofernes challenges the idea that faith must always look like meekness. Spiritually, it suggests that wisdom includes strategic thinking, especially when guided by prayerful discernment. Deliverance comes through devotion. Judith is a vessel for God's justice because she is completely surrendered to divine guidance. She shows that when we clear ourselves of ego and doubt, we become channels for greater good. Mystical interpretation of Judith's actions. Judith as the soul's higher self. Mystically, Judith can represent the higher self or divine soul within you, the part that knows, sees, and acts with clarity. Holofernes the oppressor can symbolize the lower mind, ego, or illusion. Beheading the ego. The act of beheading Holofernes becomes a symbolic killing of illusion, pride, and false power. Judith severs the head, the seat of thought and control of the enemy. This aligns with the mystical path of inner liberation, cutting through deception with divine truth. Feminine mysticism and inner wisdom. In Kabbalistic or Gnostic terms, Judith could be linked to the Shekinah or Sophia, divine feminine wisdom that operates not through force but through insight and soul purity. She moves in the shadows not by brute confrontation, but by revealing truth in darkness. Night as initiation. Judith kills Holofernes at night, a common mystical motif. Darkness in mysticism often represents the unknown or unconscious. Her journey into his tent can symbolize the soul's descent into the shadow to bring back light and freedom. In short, Judith's story isn't just about political deliverance, it's an allegory for the soul's power to conquer illusion, ego, and oppression through divine alignment, inner wisdom, and fearless action.